And we are back. G-Mac and Winnie coming at you with another edition of the Outlaw Blitz podcast. Big fella, let's get dangerous.
Good morning. How are you today?
Is that better now?
Yeah, much.
The recording coming in was a little high.
It did come in a little high,
but little hot.
A little hot, but I think as I've noticed on TCB, if I don't have it turned up a bit, it doesn't come across on the playback nearly as well.
Right. So
it's a weird balance.
Yeah, I mean, ideally with a new computer, like we said, the sound card is kind of still back. So with a new one, we wouldn't need all the excess. It could just be one flow.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which would be cool. But
so what's good, bud?
Thanksgiving over, done.
Yeah.
Interesting conversation. We might as well just fucking fire right into this one.
Let's rock.
So my nephew and his girlfriend were down. She has a friend who's transitioned from a female to a male.
No way.
And if you see the dude, the person, you would never in a million years think that this was ever a woman.
Is it he, him?
It's a he, him now. Like,
what's his name?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't want to get into it. I don't know that part of it.
Okay.
Just showed me a picture, no shirt on, running to like a warrior race or whatever.
Okay. You
would never know. 6-pack abs, beard. You just never know. But then, as discussions go.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, do they have a dick? And they don't have one yet.
Surgery is not complete.
So, Reebok, I hope you're listening to me. And there's a reason behind this.
Oh, God.
Apparently,
the pump?
They put one on, and it's a pump that, just to put one on, how's it going to get hard and not get hard and get hard?
Right.
You have to pump it up.
Right.
Well, apparently the pump is in the balls.
Shut the fuck up.
So how would you not have just Reebok?
I want a bright orange like basketball.
And then just, and then it goes down.
Oh my God. Oh, it's horrible.
And then how you know that it's the person's not mentally a male. They said they just wanted an average sized penis when they put it on.
Right.
To me, there's no way. You're Johnny Holmes, bro.
I want it down on my knee limp.
Yeah. You need an ankle holster.
Yeah, seriously. I need fucking do me a favor, when you put it on, it's so Velcro on the outer side of my thigh, so I can fucking strap the bitch up when I'm not using it.
Yep.
That's wild.
So that's what I'm saying. I said there's got to be a bleed off valve.
Yeah, for real.
There has to be a bleed off valve.
A bleed off valve.
Right, because if not, it's just going to be up there. It's just going to be.
And this is talk on Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving morning before, we were just hanging out having tea or whatever,
And then you met her?
No, I've never met the person.
Oh, you just saw pictures.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was just the point that you would never know, and no, you would never know.
That's fucking
But then
crazy.
then of course the questions start rolling in.
They have to.
Right. So that's what I said. I'm like, you can't just I get it if you had one that sat into a holder, you know what I mean? Like if they put a ball type thing in there,
holster.
It just it would be always like this. Yeah. It'd be always like this. Yeah, so how do you get it to go? You have to have something that goes.
What if it rolled up like the hood in the back of a windbreaker?
Yeah. Yeah, just
a little zipper pouch.
Snap the flap.
That's it. Oh God! You put it away like a fucking easy up.
Yeah. Clink, clink, clink. It's telescopic.
Hold on, I gotta put the pin in.
Yeah. Oh. So apparently, this person wears a fake dick in their underwear when they go to the gym and stuff.
A fawn.
So they look like a guy in the gym. That just shows you where the mentality of it though doesn't match up.
Right.
Because you don't care in the gym. If you're a guy, you're not looking at another guy's wang.
Correct.
So what you know what I mean?
Right.
So why does that matter?
Right. And if you're a chick and you're looking at the dude and he's got a fucking giant summer sausage down there in his fucking Speedo, and the letdown is going to be very tremendous later on when it's still got a fucking hatchet mark.
Yeah, when you pull his drawers off and you go, there's nothing to suck here.
Right.
They're built into the underwear. Oh my God.
They do say
is that not... Why... We're going to let this out.
The fucking hormones make the clitoris
to bigger. A cleanus?
Yeah, to a small cleanus. I don't know if you get penetration with the cleanest, but
No. But what I'm
this is
saying is,
digressed.
do we maybe have the $1 billion idea with all the trans that's going on in the world? Either way, right?
Right.
Why not just have underwear with it pre-sewn into it? You pull on your underwear in the morning, it just already has like a Peter right in it,
That's
like
or just
a pre-sewn bulge right in there.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, with something that's like a rubber, so like the water doesn't stay in it.
Bulgers.
Yeah, that would be it.
They're boxers, they're bulgers.
Yeah, bulgers. It's always in your cup.
Oh, that's fucking classic. Yeah. I can't. Well, you know what? Hey, in today's world, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, dude. So, needless to say, that was.
That's an interesting conversation.
It is.
How was the rest of your week?
Not bad, man. You were in the
mine.
You were in the gurney.
I was.
The Duke is in the gurney. It's somebody cursed our group.
We got dirt chicken.
We did. We got dirt chicken. I'm looking at the video right now, bro.
Yeah.
And my light is kind of in front of me and over me, and yours is behind you. You look tan, and I look completely washed out.
It's probably the opposite.
And like right when I was standing in the hallway looking at you, you look very pale.
Right.
So it just blows my mind. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
It's crazy.
Oh, that's better. I look better now.
So come to find out, and didn't realize how serious this was. If I didn't go to the hospital Sunday night,
you're a dead man.
I was probably dead in the bed Monday morning.
And I'm glad I told you.
Yeah.
Like nobody goes from 1:30, hey, I'm just doing some laundry and I'm going to be back for the Jet game, to
in the bed fucking tremoring by 3:00.
Did they figure it out? Like that's why I said, did your cat scratch you?
No.
Did they figure out was it your ingrown toenail?
Ingrown toenail, yeah.
Got infected and
ran. It got infected. And now, so no. Plus, listen. I guess this is a common occurrence in hospitals around the fucking world, or nation at least. Now, not about the world. Understaffing, overcrowding.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of 6 people that spent over 24 hours in the ER before I actually got put into a room. Once I got up into a room, the staff there was fucking fantastic. They were very, very nice to me.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for a better crew. But then comes part 2 of everything. So I get up there, they're doing the IVs. After 24 hours and after the first iron transfusion, because I had sepsis, after the iron transfusion, it was low iron for whatever reason, because I'm partly anemic. The fucking line was bad. The iron's really rough on an IV line, apparently, so they had to change it. They could not get a new line in. So 9 sticks later, they called a fucking ultrasound guy to come up with the ultrasound and literally
find it.
Had to use the ultrasound to guide the needle in to a vein. So that got me through until I left. They pull it out. Now the next morning, which was Thanksgiving morning, I'm supposed to go for IV infusion at an office in Kingston. I get there, 8 sticks, and this fucking guy can't get me. So he sends me home. So now I'm like, fuck. I know if I go back the next morning and they don't get me,
you're going back in.
Back to the hospital.
You have to.
Yeah, there's no way.
Because you can't be without the antibiotic.
Yeah, it was being 24 hours. I felt pretty good coming home Wednesday.
But by Thanksgiving afternoon,
by midday Thursday, the decline was there because it had been 24 hours on an antibiotic.
Right.
So by Friday morning, I was really feeling it.
Yeah, that one looked like it hurt.
Yeah, so she got it first shot. But, dude, she ran that, and the hole's right there. You can still see it.
Right by your knuckle.
Along the knuckle. And there's a gusher in there. She said it's a huge vein. But you could fucking feel that thing digging right alongside of the bone. Holy shit. But
I told you, you probably climbed up that chair with your ass cheeks.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. And it's, I'm a lucky one. I had to go for one time, and it was enough IV that it's time released over a period of 2 weeks.
Yep.
There are people that are on a 40-day infusion schedule, so they're going there every morning. So it's the same crew. I was just a visitor to the crew.
Right.
That morning.
They're like, hey, who's this guy?
Yeah,
who's
more or
guy?
less, because they know each other, giving hugs and kisses and blow, So, God bless those people. It's a lot to go and
but don't you
there.
think they probably have pick lines in there already?
A couple of them did, but a couple of them have to get reset every day. Or, like one of the elder gentlemen that was there, he had an IV pick line in, but it had been in for a week or so.
And he needed a new one?
Needed a new one.
Yeah.
So it's
but rough. Once a week's better than every day.
Right.
It is. And then, so you go through,
now I'm down to, number one, I went to the hospital, and I'm down in 380s now, which I haven't seen in a couple of years. And being in the hospital helps.
Yeah.
But I get home, and now, and IV's helping, clearly. The redness is going down, but the swelling is not. So if it doesn't get better today, doctors always begin to call tomorrow because...
Yeah, well, your leg looks like shit.
Yeah, it feels like shit. Like I said, the pain, the redness, and the infection, I can tell is getting better, but that swelling is not. It's retaining a ton of fucking fluid.
Yeah.
Putting a shoe on was bad.
Yeah, and then I don't know what the hell's going on, but then the Duke had the same kind of not that, but similar with fluid. And you go down to see him, and he thought it was going to be an in and out overnight thing, and now it's been a few days.
Right.
So it's just one of those things. Like you get to a point in your life, and you're going, worrying about everybody else, that you forget to worry about yourself, and then bang.
Yeah, a lot of times. A lot of times it is that way. Right.
And then we're not 25 anymore either.
No.
Where you just bounce back from this. This is a rough weekend.
Right. And then it becomes fuck, I'm out of sick time. When I get paid. Blah,
That's
blah, blah.
I'm in that.
I know we're in the same boat. So, yeah, it's rough, man, but we're here.
We're here. You do what you can.
That's it. Keep pushing forward.
That's it. One step in front of the other. You can't worry about exit 5 when you're back here.
Correct.
You worry about the exit that's right in front of you.
Yep.
So, other than that, how was your Thanksgiving?
Boring.
Mine was great.
I was gonna.
The Cowboys kicked the shit out of the Commanders.
I was gonna go to my in-laws, but I hadn't made a bowel movement in days at that point. So eating, I haven't really had much of an appetite anyway. So going
the whole world just listened to you say you hadn't taken a shit.
I know. With
oh my god! So what? You didn't want to drop the Hiroshima bomb on them?
It just wasn't going to come out.
So then why didn't you just go and eat?
Because I wasn't going to. But because I was.
Or were you miserable? Because the other thing was wearing off.
I wasn't hungry, and I knew if I ate, I was going to be miserable. So later on that night, Carly brought me back a little bit, so I had a little bit of everything, and I was going to go. But yeah.
Did you get your CPAP machine yet?
I have not. But they did call while I was in the hospital, so that will be a call I'm making tomorrow.
And what, to get fitted or
just to pick it up? Yeah, it's already setting. It's actually doing a BiPAP machine instead.
Okay.
So yeah,
hopefully you'll start sleeping better.
Days. Yeah.
And then your schedule will change here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So and back to your hours.
Right, more or less.
Yeah, you're not a morning person.
Not so much.
You don't care to be. You're more of an evening to night person. So
that is for sure.
That's not bad, man. I mean, Thanksgiving, was what it was. And then I saw my sister, like I said, and we had that conversation in the morning. They went and saw my other sister in the afternoon.
Nice.
I think we got a line on maybe a producer when the new year turns around. And then yesterday, Boston and Jern were in town, and we had Thanksgiving at my mom's.
Right.
Which is nice. And then I video chatted Summer so she could be there.
Good.
For a few minutes.
Now, did Summer and Rob celebrate Thanksgiving over there?
Yeah, they don't celebrate there, but a bunch of Americans got together and they all brought a dish and they had a party and played games and all that stuff. So, they made it worthwhile, which I'm surprised the military base doesn't put something on.
Right. Because
it's Thanksgiving and you're in a foreign country that doesn't celebrate it.
Now, have they made friends over there?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. They got friends over there that they go and hang out with, play board games, go to the movies, whatever.
Local friends too, or are they all other Army people?
Other Air Force people, but that are the one girl that she's good friends with is from England, but she married an Air Force guy.
Okay.
So you know what I mean.
So
and Summer always had that English accent when
she was
little.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like that's her ideal best friend over there. You know, so it was pretty cool.
That is cool.
All right, so what made you come up with this top 5?
I'm giving credit to the righteous Ripper there, Richie Wright.
Ripper of toilets?
Ripper of toilets. A ripper of many things.
Do you remember the movie that he was watching?
Oh shit, I don't. But he brought it up, and then we started talking about like Sarah McLachlan commercials.
Okay, well let's get into it. Then you can explain.
Okay.
This week's top 5, and I don't know why. Let's do a new countdown. That started in the middle. The top 5 movie scenes that are tearjerkers.
Yes. So back again, Richie was talking about whatever he was watching on TV that afternoon. And he's like, all of a sudden, he found himself sniffling and the eyes welling up and tears coming down his cheek,
and it can be anything.
It
like
can be.
weird things that have weird connections with people.
And it doesn't even have to be sad. It could be the joyous
happy
stuff,
right? Yeah.
But I got 2 honorable mentions before we hit our top 5s. My 2 honorables were Luke saving Anakin in Return of the Jedi, when Vader throws the Emperor over the edge, and Luke takes off his helmet because he says he wants to see his son with his own eyes.
Well, Anakin saving Luke.
And then Luke saving Anakin.
Yeah.
Both, and then the second one would be Mickey dying in Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Which was
telling Clubber Lang, "You punk, I ain't scared as you."
And then Rocky kind of
yeah. Oh, did you watch, before we get into our list?
Okay.
Did you watch the Sly documentary?
No,
on
is
Netflix?
it good?
Phenomenal.
Okay, good.
A lot of shit I didn't know. His dad was a real dirtbag.
His daughters are in it too, right?
Not really. It's more just about
Sophia
but it's more just about him.
Really?
His brother Frank's in it.
Okay.
But man, his dad was a piece of shit.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, was he really?
I've been seeing a lot of Tulsa King clips popping up now on TikTok.
Well, I'll probably get ready for season 2.
Can't wait.
All right, number 5 for me, Up. The opening sequence in the movie Up. It's an animated Pixar movie. If you have not seen it, which I don't believe you have,
I have not.
It shows how a new kid who was obsessed with, say the 60s, the space program, he became friends with the neighborhood girl, who then they became teenagers, and it kind of is just this opening sequence of life. He goes through this, and then they go to have a kid, and she can't have a kid, and the heartbreak there. And then they're growing old, and they're adventurous, and then she's in a hospital, and she passes away, and then here he is, this old guy by himself.
Jesus.
And he won't sell the house that they built with their own hands.
Right.
And developers are building everything around him.
Right.
And it ends up being like a city around this little tiny house. And he will not give it up because it's his house.
It's up.
Right.
Wow.
And if you want to talk about a knife through your heart.
Yeah, that sounds pretty
especially
nice
and like kids, when you're young, you're not going to understand that. But as a parent sitting there, oh my God, it hits everything in the right way. Like, you find love, you find your best friend since you were little, and you build this whole life with them, and then they're gone. And the only thing you got left of them, people just think they only want you for the postage stamp of property you're on.
Right. And that postage stamp was your everything.
That was your everything, and they just want it just to build some other kind of skyscraper on it,
And you know what? It's sad because it's true. There's a lot of families that hold on to that house because grandpa built that with his own hands, or
right? Especially back then,
right?
Or whatever the time frame. So that was my number 5.
Okay, my number 5. Maybe it's on the list, maybe it's not. Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2, Snape's death.
Nope, not on my list.
When he looks at Harry and he says, "You have your mother's eyes."
Yeah, and then he says, "Take it."
Yes, it was.
And it explains how a guy who he thought hated him
thought he detested him.
And
was really loving and protecting him.
He loved him so much he hated him because he was like when he would hate him, like he would outwardly hate him.
Right.
It was because he reminded him of his father.
Right.
But he literally gave his own life to protect him.
And because of how much he loved his mother. So, again, I'm not the Harry Potter nut you are.
Yeah.
But I love Alan Rickman as an actor.
He was phenomenal.
And him as Snape, to see what you thought was such a vile character for so many chapters of the movie so far.
Listen, for every movie
Right.
to the last 20 minutes
Right.
of the whole series,
Right.
you thought this guy is the bad guy.
Dick.
And there's no way to go forward. And he says, and then he utters one word.
Yeah.
And any Harry Potter fan that's out there, a woman has it on their car. Always.
Right.
One word. He just says, always. And it's basically Dumbledore says, after all this time? And he's like, always.
Right.
And that was like one word. And it, like they say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Well, that one word was worth 1,000 different things that he did in his life.
Yeah.
Very good scene. I'm surprised you picked that.
Yeah, I was. Again, like I said, to me, and I'll equate that to my Luke saving Anakin saving Luke, because he was the villain. He was reviled the entire series,
right,
until that last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right. What's your number 4?
My number 4, Good Will Hunting. It's Not Your Fault.
Yeah. Such a good movie.
Yeah, and you know what it is we've all been there, or at least you probably have been there to some degree, where you're just beating the brakes off of yourself, and you're putting up a wall, and you're being tough, and you're doing all this, and you don't realize you're doing it to protect something that you always held as like it being you. Right. It was your fault you were an orphan. It was your fault that nobody loved you properly. It was your fault. And really, the guy breaks through and he's like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And then to see Matt Damon break down in that moment, like that moment resonates with a lot of people that come from tough upbringings, because they don't know why they're in, they don't assume. They don't know why their friend has 3 starter jackets and they can barely get one.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just assume. They're like,
that's the way it is.
That's just the way it is. And they blame themselves, and in reality it had nothing to do with them.
Right.
It was just they were born to that scenario.
Right.
You have the whole world you can go change in front of you.
Right.
And
again, that's why they say the windshield is way bigger
than the rear view.
Yep. So, my number 4, Robert kills his dog. I Am Legend.
Never saw it.
Never saw it? Okay. No. It's a Will Smith movie. The world's being overtaken by, I want to say, zombies or whatever. His dog is all he has in the world that's left. His dog becomes infected. Now his dog is rabid and ready to kill. He knows
he has to.
And there's a moment where he's sitting down. He knows what's going to happen. Tears are streaming down his face. And for anybody that's ever had a dog, you're like, oh my fucking good God, this is terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Just, so.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Were you crying?
Not that one time, but other times, yeah.
All right. Number 3, Deathly Hallows.
Okay.
Dobby the house elf dies.
That was close, because that was extremely fucking terrible as well.
And that was another thing where somebody who was an indentured servant, a slave, essentially, a wizard slave, goes through a whole entire thing. And Harry was treated like shit by the people that brought him up.
Right.
So in the wizarding world, he was this big famous person, but he had so much humility, because he was a nobody that was treated like shit, like in his real world before he knew he was a wizard.
Right.
He was like, have a seat, sit down. And he's like, you're asking me to sit down? Like that house elf was never, they were just kicked around and treated like shit. Literally.
Yeah.
So when he asked him to sit down and he was being kind to him, that house elf was like, I got to protect, no one's shown me this respect in my life ever.
Harry Potter.
Right. Yeah. And in the end, he comes to save him. Bellatrix Lestrange throws a fucking knife. It goes through as they're quote unquote teleporting away. Is the only way I'll explain it if you don't know what it is. And the knife goes through and gets him. And he just comes out and he's like, Harry Potter. Like, he always called him by his whole name.
Yeah.
He looks at him. He's like, "Oh my god!" He takes the knife out of him, and there's no help for him. He can't do anything.
Right.
The knife like went right through his chest, and the last thing he just says is Harry Potter. Like, he did everything he could for that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's a powerful moment in a book. It's very powerful. And then Harry's response to that was even more powerful, because he's like, "I'm going to bury him, and I'm not using magic." Like, a magician could just go and the dirt's out of there.
Right.
He grabbed a spade and buried him by hand.
Yeah.
That's how much he cared for him. So it was like, it showed a bond in a way that was really crazy. But it's one of those weird, it's a fictional thing.
Dobby was so selfless.
Right.
Yeah.
And Harry Potter's selfless in reality. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it was just a powerful thing. In the book, it was very powerful. In the movie, they did it every bit of justice they could.
Yeah. I agree. My number three. Marley and Me. Marley dies.
You and the dogs, man.
Jesus, that movie was rough, dude.
Yeah.
Such a good movie. Owen Wilson was really good in it. I forget who the female lead was. She was excellent too. It wasn't Jennifer Aniston. No, I don't think so.
Kate Hudson?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I can't remember
the scene when Marley he's saying goodbye. It's again, grab you by the fucking.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Yeah. My number 2. It's a Wonderful Life. When George returns home.
Yeah.
Here he is thinking, again, I just said something a few minutes ago where you're worried about exit 5 when you're back here at this. Like, you can't worry about that shit.
Right.
You worry about it when you get to it. Here he is. He's thinking everything went down. The bank went up. His whole life's over. I wish I was never born. He goes through the whole thing to see when he was never born, and he comes back, and how the whole town rallied around him because he was such a good human.
Right.
It was just an emotional thing. It was a happy thing at the same time, but it was an emotional thing. Like, here's somebody that deserved the help, and everybody rallied around him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool because we both have happy moments as our number 2. My number 2, Rudy Takes the Field.
Yeah.
And Rudy.
Yeah, that was a big moment.
Definitely cried when it happened. You want so bad for this kid who, for 4 years, blood, sweat, and tears, is trying to get his moment, and it looks like the end of the line is not going to do a damn thing to put him in the game.
Right.
And he comes running on the field. Stay on. He ends up getting the sack. They carry him off. A lot of creative. Since I've seen the movie and learned a lot of creative liberties were taken.
Yeah, but would it be any other way?
No, it's Hollywood.
And then on top of it, they admit that they did carry him off, but like as a goof.
Right.
You know? I think a more power. That was great.
But the story itself of perseverance is, I think, what it is.
That was great. That scene was great.
Yes.
I think a bigger scene in that movie, to me, and maybe it's just me, was when he goes to the guy that played Rock.
Right.
And he tells him he quit. He goes, "You're 5 foot nothing. You're 100 and nothing." And he's like, "You're gonna quit? Why would you quit? You're going to school at the greatest place there is."
Right.
And he kind of like changes his mind as to like.
Well, and part of that ending scene when he gets the sack and when he gets on the field, that makes it that much better. Is they show Rock, well, whatever the character's name was, standing in the end zone.
And he finally claps
for him
because he never watched a game
since
he blew out his knee and he was
Correct.
the player and all that. Yeah.
So it was awesome on multiple ends.
Right. All right. And my number 1, A Knight's Tale.
I love that movie.
William Thatcher comes home to see his dad.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
That right now will fuck me up.
Dude.
He's Sir Ulrich.
Yeah.
He leaves as he's a young boy.
Yes.
And his dad sends him with a knight.
Yes.
To go in the joust and all this, change your stars, because he was only a peasant.
That's right, change your stars.
And he was only a peasant, and he sewed stuff, right?
The father?
Yeah, he was
he was blind.
Right, but but he wasn't when he was young. He was a Thatcher, but he was like weaving stuff and finishing things, or whatever. So he sends him away, and 20 years later, 15 years, I think it was like 15 years later,
right.
They come back for the Worlds, World Jousting Finals, and everybody's cheering, Ulrich. He's like this famous jouster now. He's like a famous knight.
Yeah.
And back then, you were either a peasant or you were royalty. There was no in the middle.
Right.
And then he comes and he's like riding through his old neighborhood and he asks the lady, this little girl, he's like, hey, do you know of a guy who might be dead now? Oh, he's blind, sir. And he goes up there and he sees his dad and he's like, hey, he goes, well, if you're here about the thing, it won't be done. He goes, I have word of your son. And see him getting it now.
Yeah.
And he gets all choked up and he's like, my William. And then he's like, has my boy followed his feet? Has he found his way home? And that moment, you're just like, and then,
He's changed his stars.
Right. He's changed his stars. And then
he becomes
his actual
Sir
name.
William Thatcher.
Right.
Yep. And that was the cool part. His love got to knight him Sir William Thatcher. Well,
no, because he went against the king.
That's right.
The king's son, the actual Prince Edward.
Yes.
And he was like, listen, because he didn't let him forfeit. Like everybody just would forfeit to the guy. And he's like, hey, sometimes we got to hide ourselves.
Yeah.
But then the big moment was when his friend comes up and says, your dad heard that.
That's right. That was Geoffrey Chaucer.
Yeah. Yep.
I like when he pulls the world's biggest splinter from his shoulder.
Yeah. He's tipped it.
Oh, dude, that thing was tremendous.
Yeah. And that dude, that whole movie was great. Watt was great. That was great.
Awesome movie.
Fucking phenomenal movie.
Anytime
but that moment,
I come across that on TV, it's a must-stop.
Anytime, knowing what he's going to say, knowing what's going to happen, I'm talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. My number one was that your number one?
That's my number one.
My number one, Thomas J's Funeral, My Girl.
That's Macaulay Culkin, right?
Yeah, and Klumsky. He gets stung by
a whole shit ton of bees.
Yep, and she goes down for the funeral, and she loses her shit. That's not how he's supposed to look. That's not how he's supposed to look. And it was
put his glasses on or something.
Yeah, and it was a kid seeing her best friend,
another kid.
Yes, in the coffin. It was fucking crazy. And
powerful.
Yeah, and seeing that as we were kids when that movie came out. We got to be around the same age as Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
So it was like, wow.
He might have been a couple years younger than us, 4 or 5 years, but I mean, he was within range where we were teenagers and he was 10 or 11.
I know I could speak for myself. My first funeral that I ever attended was my 70-some-odd-year-old uncle, not my 12-year-old best friend.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was a tough. I think I only seen My Girl maybe twice because of that.
Yeah,
because of how rough of it is. It's rough. Like, and it's probably rough for us because we're that age. Now, if you see it at 40 for the first time, you're probably like, "Oh man, that really sucks." And yeah, it is sad. Yeah. But when you're 12 and you see it, and it resonates with you because it's your own age group.
That's what it is.
You know.
Yep. Shit. One other honorable mention. I'm mad I left this off my list. Was Armageddon, when Bruce Willis
stays on the
and tells Ben Affleck essentially like, take care of my girl.
Yeah.
That was a tearjerker too.
Big softy.
Yeah, definitely.
No, they're good, man. And listen, to limit it to 5 is hard.
It is. There's so many other good scenes out there. Brian's song.
Yeah, I didn't have to look. These were just 5 that were like ready, put right in my head. I'm like, yep. It was just a matter of ordering them. But yeah, Brian's song. Every guy, my friend Brian Piccolo.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, and then some happy ones, you know.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
a lot of good sport happy ones. That's what I noticed. There was a lot of good sport happy ones because most of those movies end on a high note. The only one I can think of that did not was not Varsity Blues.
No.
Texas Permian.
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights, yeah, they didn't win.
But it was because it was true.
Right.
Oh, no, Bad News Bears didn't win either.
They didn't?
Bad News Bears lose to the Yankees in the championship. He's out at home plate.
Really?
Yeah. And that's where that's where Buttermaker gives them all beer, and then he takes the trophy and he throws it at him and goes, hey, Yankees, better luck next year. You know what I mean? Oh, no, you can take your stupid trophy and stick it up your ass, and then they all start drinking Genesee.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I watched them. I watched the original Walter Matthau.
Yes.
I think of your dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally think of your dad.
Yeah.
So.
And then if you watch the new one.
I think of you.
One that's poetic if you just slow it down. The end of Major League.
Dude, how did we leave this off our lists? And it should have been on both of our lists. G-Baby dies.
Oh, yeah, that was brutal.
That was brutal. Love it when you call me Big Papa.
Yeah.
That was
That was a rough
another
one.
rough movie.
You know why? Because it wasn't like, it was a good movie, but it wasn't like this majorly famous movie.
Right.
Like a lot of people are like, what's this movie?
Yeah.
They don't even know.
What's a cucumber?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. All right, you ready to move along?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go. All right. 5 crazy questions sponsored by Scalable Computers via GMAC.
All right.
Number 1, would you rather read by the fire or have a winter movie marathon night? So it's snowing out. Would you rather read a nice book by a nice fireplace, or would you rather curl up in a bed and have a movie marathon night?
Man, read by fire.
I'm a read by the fire guy too.
Yeah. That's because we don't have the
Because it's
opportunity
relaxed.
to
It's
do
so
it.
relaxing.
It is.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I'll read by the fire.
All right, I agree. Number 2, this is the one I can't wait. It's 20 degrees outside, and to save your life, you have to either take a wrench and slip off a bolt, knuckles first, into all the hardest, sharpest metal around. 20 degrees, so you know your hands are brittle, cold as fuck.
Yeah.
So you either got to do that,
Okay.
bang, and you don't know because you're pulling on the wrench. You don't know when it's going to
It's
right. It's a jack in the box. You don't know when it's coming, but it's coming, right?
Okay.
Or Vlad Guerrero takes a rubber hose and smacks you across your thighs full force.
And same cold.
Same 20 degrees, yeah.
Oh man.
And it's to save your life.
Oh, I'm banging my knuckles up.
Really?
Yeah. So I think he's going to swing a hell of a lot harder than I'm going to bash my knuckles, I think.
Yeah, the only thing I could say, positively about Vlad Guerrero hitting you is it's going to hurt, right?
Yeah.
And it might be bruised, but your knuckle, every time you bend your hand, for the next 3 months, it's going to break open. It's going to just hurt.
It's both, you're terrible.
Both.
I'm hoping my hand's so fucking numb I don't fucking feel it at first. Not until we warm back
your skin
up.
might be so tight that you hit it and it's like deep all the way down to your bone.
Oh, it's gonna suck.
As somebody that's banged a lot of knuckles up in my racing days in the garage and shit, I don't know. I think I'm taking that.
I'm saying Vlad's bat speed is coming in about a buck 11
with a rubber hose.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
All right, number 3. Would you rather build 100 snowmen or shovel 50 driveways?
Oh, build 100 snowmen.
Yeah. Either way, it's a full day of just moving snow.
Right, but less back wrenching with the snowman.
Yeah. I mean, it would all be dependent.
If
it's super fluffy,
at least it's fun,
and it's small driveways, like 100 matchbox driveways. Yeah. All right, number 4. Would you rather have uncontrollable shivers anytime it's below 32 degrees, or really bad sunburn the entire summer?
Anytime it's below 32.
Yeah.
Or sunburn.
From like June to September, you got brutal sunburn. Sunburn. Really?
Only because last Sunday and Monday,
you had the
part of
shivers?
Tuesday, I had the uncontrollable shivers, and there's nothing you can do to make them stop. Your body's tired when it finally does stop.
Well, it's almost like shock.
Yeah, because you're tense the whole fucking time.
Right, you gotta take a breath because it tightens everything up. You fucking shiver.
Dude, the worst part is I would get into a good spot, like in the ER, trying to get comfortable in a hospital gurney.
Right.
At any size. I don't care if you're my size or your size or fucking Boston size.
Yeah.
They're not comfortable.
Right.
So I'd get right in the right spot, and I'd have a fresh blanket out of the heater, and I'd have to get up and piss. And that 30 seconds would undo the last hour of getting warm.
Yep.
No,
they're brutal.
Yeah.
When I broke my leg and I went into shock, I was like, and it was middle summer, and I was
shivering. Yeah.
I was just shivering. And I'm like, why am I so cold? They're like,
Right.
you're in shock. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like,
You
I was
are.
young and an idiot. I didn't
Yep.
understand. I was in shock. All right, and number 5. Would you rather have cold, wet hands and dry, warm feet, or dry, warm hands and cold, wet feet?
Nothing's worse than wet feet.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'd rather have warm feet and
Yeah.
cold, wet hands. Be
Absolutely.
like, oh my God, my hands are just so cold, but at least my feet are warm.
I can do something with my hands. I can pull them up my sleeves. I can put them in my pockets. Your feet are in your shoes and your socks.
You're done.
Once they're fucking wet, they're wet.
Right.
You're done. It's a wrap.
Right. I've had a warm left foot recently, and the right foot never fired.
It did not.
Or no, it was reversed. The right foot fired and left foot
fire.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
And I could tell you, my left foot was the one aching on the ride home. The right foot was fine.
Sure it was. Oh god!
All right, so far so good. We're cruising,
All right.
and we are up to a holiday version of. We are here for episode of Dirtbag.
Richie Wright's favorite, by the way.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
A lot of people like it. It's just a matter of getting the right questions for this scenario.
Absolutely.
So I'm calling this holiday Dirtbag because it may go from Thanksgiving to New Year's.
Okay.
Number 1, and there's probably like 12.
Okay.
All right, I have to go to the phone for these ones.
All right.
Number 1, have you ever re-gift something back to the person who got it for you originally?
No. I haven't.
No?
I've regifted.
Dirtbag.
But never back to the same person.
It's like, hey, I bought you that toaster for your wedding.
Now, here's an elevated dirt bag. Have you ever regifted the presents that you got from somebody the following Christmas to somebody else?
Right, that's a dirtbag.
That's a total dirtbag move.
Yeah.
That means
you
totally,
held on to it for a year.
You unappreciated that thing for the entire year and then gave it away again.
Yeah. Yep. All right, number 2. If you have a dietary restriction and complain at someone else's house for not catering to your gluten-free, vegan, CrossFit lifestyle.
No, I haven't done that. But that is a dirtbag move.
That's a dirtbag move.
Way big time.
All right, number 3. Have you ever given someone a birthday/holiday gift and lumped them together?
Yes.
Dirtbag. It's like, here's your July 4th and Christmas.
That's right. Here's your Arbor Day fucking Easter present. Yep.
Yeah, that's a dirtbag move. All right. Have you ever been the first one to bring up religion and politics at the dinner table? At the holiday dinner table?
Definitely not. No.
Dirtbag.
Yeah, that's a total dirtbag move.
Number 5. Have you ever gone Christmas shopping on Thanksgiving for Black Friday deals?
Yes.
Dirtbag. That's on Black Friday. You don't go on Thanksgiving.
I went on Thanksgiving. I've been in the store as early as 7 p.m. on Thanksgiving.
That's bullshit. That is bullshit. That is dirty dirtbag bullshit right there. Poor people got to go to work so you can go shopping for a fucking toaster.
That's right.
All right. What was that? 5. Number 6. Have you shown up late to a function?
Oh my God.
Dirtbag.
Permanently dirtbag.
Here's the part 2 of that. Also, if you still have you ever stayed well past your welcome and didn't offer to clean up?
Probably.
Dirtbag. and the final part of that, but absolutely make certain you get a to-go plate.
Absolutely.
Dirtbag. Yep. You've done all 3 of them to me.
I have.
My Christmas party.
Yes.
Fuck. All right, number 7. Have you ever brought a surprise guest without informing the host so they could accommodate food and seating?
Nah, that's wrong.
That's wrong. But you're a dirtbag if you do that. You just show up with a random girlfriend.
Yeah.
I believe somebody did that at my Halloween party one time.
Yes. Dirtbag.
Dirtbag. She was a dirtbag.
That's right.
Number 8. Were you ever the gambling addicted uncle who stole all the kids' money to put a bet down on the Thanksgiving game?
Wow. No. Do you know anybody? That's a
That's a
terrible
very
dirtbag
specific
move.
thing.
It is.
Hey, let me see what we got here. And then you're putting money down on the fucking the 1 p.m. game.
Lions to fucking cover spread.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, number
shit.
9. Have you ever bought gifts for kids and leave out some kids? Hold on, I got to figure out how this is worded. Okay, basically, have you ever bought gifts for somebody's kids? Like you went to a party or something, you bought gifts for kids, and you bought them some cheap ass CVS ones, and you bought the other nephews that you like really good ones.
Yeah, probably. Straight up, like, yeah, absolute drugstore toys.
Yeah. And then the other kids are like the
Xbox.
elite fucking WWE
Yeah,
wrestlers.
absolutely. He got like Roy Mysterio.
Yeah. All right, number 10. Have you ever sat under the table and ate all the biscuits at Thanksgiving or Christmas?
I have not.
Dirtbag Zach.
Oh, he did. That's
He took
right.
the whole fucking thing and went under the table and ate them all. A whole entire basket, like however many muffins or biscuits they make at Thanksgiving, ate the whole fucking thing under the table. All right, number 11. Have you or a family member ever worn a sweater with a picture of Jesus on it that said birthday boy?
No. God, no.
That's such a dirtbag
That's
move.
horrible.
Birthday boy.
Where do you buy that?
I don't know. Boston thought that was hilarious when I was going through the questions. He's like, I want that shirt now. And this one's Boston's. Have you ever used Dusty's last season wrapping paper for this year's
Oh,
gifts?
fucking A. Absolutely.
Dirtbag.
Totally.
That's dirtbag.
That's
They're always
good.
fun.
They are.
Yeah, he's like, when they got the dusty last year's dusty ass wrapping paper, and you get some. He goes, it's like got texture on it as you try to open it.
It's an 80 grit wrapping paper.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh,
it's
God,
pretty
it
funny.
is funny. Holy shit. Oh, man, I fucking.
You doing all right over there, buddy?
Yeah, it's throbbing.
Any other dirtbag holiday editions you can think of?
The regifting is definitely a big one.
Have you or one of your kids ever spilled an entire cup of soda in the middle of a Christmas party floor and then you just pushed it to the side with your foot?
I don't know.
Dirtbag. 100% you did that.
What to come from the soda?
Both. Just went on my hardwood floors, you prick fuck.
I did so much damage to the floors.
Yeah.
I routed them. They didn't need to be routed.
Have you ever dragged a couch with your ass to pick up the remote?
I have.
Dirtbag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, have you ever left the toilet running for 5 hours as you went to a football game?
Yeah. Dirtbag.
Have you ever placed your feet on the edge of someone's tub to take a
Shit on the inside of their lid.
Yes.
Dirtbag.
Oh my God.
Anything else, or you want to go
we're
on
good.
to?
We're good.
Let's go on a rabbit hole.
All right.
At the sold-out Allstate Arena in Chicago.
All right, this week's rabbit hole. I figure we were both been laid up for a while. We should have some stuff to look at. I'll start with one. I've been following this person. They're called Bennett Peach, Bennett Peach, Peach.
Okay.
At Bennett Peach on TikTok, and she goes through like songs we had no business singing when we were young, and it goes through the lyrics of these songs. You know the song Lola, Lola, Lola.
Yeah, is that Clapton?
Drinks Coca-Cola. It's by the Kinks, actually.
Oh, the Kinks, okay.
You're thinking Eric Clapton's Layla.
Oh, Layla, that's
all right. That fucking song is about a guy who goes out to pick up a chick, and he picks up a dude that's dressed like a chick, and then how he gets on the knees and blows the fucking she-mail.
Jesus God.
I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm reading the lyrics as they're coming out. I'm like, what the fuck? It tells the whole story. And here you're just going, low, 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 low.
I can't. I don't remember the original version. I remember the Weird Al version, Yoda.
Yeah. Yeah.
You met him in a swamp down in Dagobah, where everything bubbles like a giant carbonated soda.
You would remember that. You
I
fucking
do.
idiot with
I'm an
that
asshole.
shit. Yeah. And then the other one was don't stand so close to me by the police.
Okay.
Don't stand
so close to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about a teacher who's banging a student.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Dude, I'll show you when we come off the air.
She-Bop, Cyndi Lauper was about a chick finger blasting herself.
She-Bop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a ton.
Shaken by Eddie Money.
Yeah.
It was about a girl who took out her dad's car, took him on the side of the road, and just rocked his world.
What?
She was shaking.
Oh,
Oh, my heart was aching. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that was one of the ones I was watching. Another one, you know me and Tim Conway with the elephant thing.
Yeah.
The elephant, whatever. Well, there's a new one where he gets the guy laughing because he says koala. He goes, "We're going down to Australia and see a koala." Nobody can keep face. Every one of them breaks, and he says it to the same guy in like 3 different scenarios. And every time he goes, I saw the monkeys over at the zoo, and then we walked by and we saw the koalas. The fucking guy just breaks every time. Tim Conway's hilarious.
Tim Conway is funny.
A lot of Not Today, pal.
Oh, you've been watching?
Yeah, I watched the clips.
I listen.
I watched a lot of the clips, like that.
Jamie
Their
Lynn.
TikTok clips.
Jamie Lynn.
Yeah, I bet she's a freak.
Oh my God! She talks about
And he's pretty cool, but he's literally AJ, bro.
Rob's a cool kid, cool guy. Yeah, he's got like a ton of like weird neuroses and shit.
Yeah,
he's totally fucking. He hasn't had a carb since like I don't know, the fucking Clinton administration.
A carb?
Yeah, he's totally like fucking
like a vegan
he eats
type
once
thing?
a day, and he's no carbs, no nothing. He's since he was on Sopranos and he had a weight problem when he was younger.
Yeah,
he's totally.
He eats once a day. He does like, how's he get his vitamins and shit?
I think he might do that. He does like smoothies and shit, but yeah, he doesn't. He only eats very specific things. Like I think she offered him $1,000 to eat a slice of Domino's pizza on the show, and he turned it down.
Well, because he knows that's like offering somebody.
He said he goes, if I eat like that for one meal, I feel like shit for a week.
Yeah.
So he's that in tune with it.
Yeah. And then the last thing I watched a lot of was Jason Lauren. They're like, it's an Australian radio show. They're on TikTok. It's literally called Jason Lauren.
Yeah.
JASEN Lauren.
Yeah.
They're just funny. They're really fucking funny. And they got a huge TikTok following. And their radio station just fired them at the end of the year. They're like, we're being replaced.
No shit.
So there are people that were like put together because of COVID.
Yeah.
And they built this thing, and TikTok follows them and loves them, and all of a sudden they got run off.
Somebody will pick that up.
Or they'll go to another radio station somewhere, and they're in like Melbourne, Australia. So they're in a big city.
Damn.
Yeah. So, but check them out, Jason Lauren. They're on TikTok, like I said. The Bennett Peach. The lyrics, I'll show you that. Some of them you're like, oh my God. Like the Lola one blew my mind, but the Eddie Money one I kind of knew. You were shaking. I mean, just hilarious.
So.
And then the typical mowing the lawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trimming up all the edges and stuff.
It's a JB mowing or SB mowing? SB mowing.
Yeah, whatever.
Matt Rife, did you see the one where he goes back to Ohio or Iowa, and Christine's in the crowd again?
No.
Yeah. So he's like, "Yo, I was on I did this show here last year, and a woman brought me cookies, and I'm just wondering if Christina happens to be in the crowd."
And the one with the squeaky tip.
Yeah. So it's like the third row back, and she's like, "Oh my, no fucking way." He's like, "Yo," he goes, "People who don't understand or didn't see this, he's like, does it still squeak?" And she's like, and he's like, "Oh!" So he brings her on stage, and he calls her daughter Maggie again. This time she's in the tub naked.
Yeah.
So he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I'm in the tub naked." He's like, "Yeah, well, how's it going?" He goes, "All three of you look great." Shit like that. But that was pretty funny to see.
Yo, not for nothing. Mom and daughter smoke show.
Still.
You gotta figure Rife got in there.
She made batch of those. She
sold them online.
Yeah,
right?
her own TikTok went viral.
Right.
She sold a batch of those cookies for like $5,000 for charity.
Yeah.
What else? Dr. Doug Whalen, I think it is Walen.
Yeah.
He's in New York City. He's a local chiropractor. Doing Frozen Shoulders was the big one I've been watching since the shit with you, and how he is taking guys that haven't been able to like go like this was like the maximum amount of flexibility they've had.
Yep.
And within 2 or 3 sessions, they're like fucking back to normal.
Yeah.
But he is cranking the fuck down on muscles with his thumbs, and you could just see the agony in their faces.
Yeah.
But he's also an animal chiropractor too. So I've seen him do the horses and shit. And it's funny, the horses and the dogs are more expressive at times than the humans.
Yeah.
They'll be like, and the dog's like, just staring at
I
him.
remember
The horse one was funny when the horse looked at him and backed away.
But that's what I'm saying. This whole thing started a year or something ago. That's right. I think on our first ever rabbit hole.
Right.
I said I saw a horse
Animal
chiropractor.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? I'm like, dude, I never knew this.
Yeah.
And that horse, he cracked his neck, and that horse went like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it bowed to him like, yo, dude, what'd you just do to me? I would have never thought that.
Yeah.
Now I can't stop watching horseshoeing. Like, I watch horseshoes, right?
Right.
Now I see this new one where they do hot stamping horseshoe. They just melt it on like heat.
Now I've seen like the ones where they clean them
cow
hooves. Yeah. Pulling a big abscess out.
Yeah.
They dig down like 3 inches in. It's black and gummy.
And cows don't really even.
They don't make any sounds.
No.
It's fucking. It's weird.
Dude, I've seen them pull a rock out of that thing and just things start shooting shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then they put like this little foam in there. They make a little pad.
Yep, the little blue pad that goes on one side of it.
Yeah, to keep an even gait.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else did he did some? Oh, so like how he gets. Listen, it's a talent. Not to just be a chiropractor. Yeah, it's a skill, but to get the animals calm enough to work on.
Right.
Like he's there, he's scratching the horse's side and stomach, and all of a sudden you see the horse's lips go like he's like laughing and super happy, and then he got to do the adjustments. But if those things don't want to do it and they fight back, you're fucked.
Oh, dude, we were talking about this at Thanksgiving at my older sister's house. So not dicks on chicks. We were talking about if a horse kicked you in the fucking head.
Done.
Dude.
Game over.
Dude. Cowboy Cerrone, UFC fighter, 2 days before a fight, got kicked in the head by a horse and still fought.
What?
Yeah. That's like a shotgun blast. Like a horse can't see. Like
right. It's a blind.
It just fucking reared back and kicked him right in the head. Bing.
You've seen the video where the horse kicked the other horse and the horse died.
Yeah.
It just dropped.
Yeah.
It's like, holy fuck.
Oh, dude, I saw this too. It was like ER. I don't know. They were like ER issues. And what it is some dude fell and hit, like he fell on like a construction site or something and hit something with like his back and his ribs.
Oh.
And so instead of like your rib cage being rounded,
right,
it had a dent in it. And as he was breathing, it was going, his whole entire rib cage was like collapsing and coming out.
Holy fuck.
And they call it a certain type of breathing.
Yeah, that can't be comfortable.
Yeah. And you were watching it go like in and out, the whole thing. It was brutal.
Another one, I didn't catch the guy's name, but he goes around, he's a piano player. He'll go to airports and stuff, and he'll sit down and he'll play, and then people will come up and play with him.
Did you see the one with the little girl with the violin?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Sat down on the bench next to him. She was like, oh, dude.
She goes, can you play? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they played like a whole duet together.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. The stuff you find on that kind of, you know, TikTok.
Well, that's like you were saying,
Reels.
Watching like America's Got Talent and all like the people trying to get onto the show and stuff. There's so much stuff out there.
Right. And so that's the parts of the internet that are good.
Right.
You know what I mean? The parts that are bad is every idiot's got a voice now too.
Right. I've been watching a lot of Ben Shapiro.
Right here.
Yeah, us two idiots. A lot of Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
And a lot of Candace Owens.
Very smart people.
Love them both.
And you know what it is? They combat people with facts and calmly.
Logic.
Right. And calmly.
Yes.
They're not elevating their voice. They're not. They're moving on. They move it on.
Yeah.
And, you know, It's only just begun, dude.
Yeah.
It's only just begun.
And Candace they're both equally good in the way they come back. And the one that Ben Shapiro had me dying on, he absolutely shredded this millennial out of college, talking about identity, gender identity, and this and that, and how do you identify. And he's like, well, how old are you? And she's like, 22. He's like, well, why aren't you 61? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, why can't you identify as a 61-year-old? Trying to put on the point, like,
because you're not 61.
You're full of shit.
Right.
Like, yeah. It just is what it is. You're either on that boat or you're not. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I mean, here's the thing. This is like the negative. I don't want to say the negative side of the internet because it's not the internet. It's the negative side of people. They're paying money to go and listen to Ben Shapiro or Candace
or
Owens.
A comedian,
right?
And then want to get mad
just to be that guy,
right,
in the crowd.
You're paying money to get your 2 minutes of whatever out,
right?
And or being a heckler
right.
Shut the
Ben
fuck
Shapiro
up.
said, if you want to come up here and debate me and go fact for fact, I'll do it all day long. But don't come up with some bullshit, essentially.
Right. Your feelings.
Yeah.
Your feelings are irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because the fact will trump your feeling every time.
Right. Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But can you imagine the way our country is? It would never happen. But could you imagine the Shapiro Owens
ticket?
Oh, there would be a following. There would be.
I'll tell you what. We all know where things are headed if society doesn't change.
Right.
We're products of being kids that grew up in the 90s primarily. And then we became 20-year-olds in the early 2000s.
We're splitters, I think, more than anything.
No, I know. But I'm just saying, like, the majority of our influence was the 90s.
Yeah, as we were growing.
And in the 90s, the Gen Xers, or, everybody wants to label them or however you label them. But no one gave a fuck if you were gay, if you were white, if you were black, if you were Spanish, if you were Mexican versus Puerto Rican. No one cared.
It didn't matter.
No one cared. They're like, you do you. Think of like Interscope Records. Interscope Records had 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Monroe, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop. Yep. You covered everything. They probably had hillbilly artists in there too. The point being, that's what the 90s were. No one cared. Everybody had their right to do the thing, and it was what it was. When it became this very specific, very detailed, I need my own little culture that involves Green Ireland football trophies, and you know what I mean? Like it got so finite, like this little fine details that everybody had to have. You stop being a human and you started becoming this little subculture that is now a subculture of a subculture of a subculture of a subculture. And everybody became this big sensitive thing. Well, you're not being friendly to, I don't do white bread. Why can't I get a substitute for white? Like, then don't fucking eat the bread.
Right.
It's that easy.
Right.
And you have the option to get what the fuck you want. I just don't get it.
The rules used to be the rules.
Right.
And then it became, well, I don't like your rules. I'm going to make my own.
Yeah, we're going to turn off the scoreboard. We're going to take away dodgeball. And dodgeball is what led to this.
Yeah. Everybody gets a trophy.
I'm big. I've said this numerous times on the show. When you took dodgeball away, it was a way that kept the world in order.
Right.
You came around, you fireball, and you said, shut the fuck up, you little crybaby, and go over there. And then they went and pouted over there.
Well,
now?
Let's be honest. As kids of the, like I said, we're those tweeners. I would say 85 to 95 are our years of, like, forming. Because 96 had a kid.
Right.
So what do we call dodgeball in 1986?
I call it dodgeball.
Did you really? If you're playing around the neighborhood, it was never called Smear the Queer?
Oh, no. That wasn't dodgeball. That was when we throw the football up and run back and forth with it. That was Smear the Queer, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely not It hasn't aged well.
Right.
We're not playing that anymore. Now it's merely LGBTQ.
Yeah.
So I don't know, dude.
I don't know. It gets frustrating.
We digress.
It gets frustrating for
frustrating.
us.
Yeah.
Because we're becoming the old hat. We're caught in between
We're
the
Archie.
two worlds.
We're Archie.
Right. We're caught between the two worlds
Yeah.
now, right? Like what world it is and the world it's going to be.
Right.
And, you know.
Are we the curmudgeons because we won't let go?
No. But you can kind of also see, like, I don't ever remember a teacher in our time frame projecting their opinion for us to follow.
Correct.
Like,
right.
When I had law classes,
those people would have been fired.
Right, or government classes.
Right.
I remember them giving you, like, hey, this is this side of the thing, and here's the other side of the coin.
Right.
And you'd say, well, what's your opinion? My opinion doesn't matter. These are the facts on this side. These are the facts over here. This is how you make your determinations.
This is American history.
It's not where you're going, you will follow this. You will only listen to this. I mean, we have a friend whose kid was thrown out of school for wearing a Trump 24 mask or 2020 mask.
Right.
Run off a soccer team. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Like, because it doesn't line up with your thought process. It's not like it was out there saying,
if it's the same friend I'm thinking of, was this the same individual who there was a teacher playing inappropriate music in the classroom, and he told his parents about it. Parents complained to the school, go, why is this teacher playing this completely inappropriate music to this age group of children?
Right.
And again, the child's the problem, not the teacher.
Right. And I'm saying that to, like, hey, look at teachers or whatever.
No,
the point is people want to push their agenda.
Right.
How about you just leave the facts and keep your opinion out of it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is this. And I'll tell you what.
Let somebody form their own opinion.
Right. And I know it's taken a steer off the comedy part that we do, but if you look at the last couple of weeks with the Hamas bullshit and all that, when you got people in America saying they don't like America and they're from America,
right,
and they support Hamas,
you know what?
Go the fuck over there.
Goodbye.
Like, if you think that that's right, like, I love when the for lack of like term, I don't want to say LBGT. Well, I will say that community wants to defend like Muslims. They'll throw you off a fucking roof in Syria or in Gaza or like if one of them people from Hamas, like they kill people that are are gay over there.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you? And you defend that?
Right.
Like, something's got to be checked in your head.
Right.
And I don't think people they get so much, they get tied into like one thing. Like even us when election stuff was going on, I would always just flip the channel over just to see. Like, something really good would happen.
Sure.
And you go over and you'd be like, they're not even talking about this. They're still stuck on Russia probe from
because
2016.
they want to steer their agenda.
Right. And media in general is very, like, how many have the same exact message versus how many are like, that's not remotely true.
Listen, you go back to our parents, my grandparents. Your grandparents obviously were older than my grandparents. But we had, like, you knew who the top newscasters in the world were at one point. You had your Tom Brokaws and your Walter Cronkites.
Right.
That's who you look to get your news, because they provided you the news in an unbiased fashion. It doesn't matter who the face is. It's an ass in a chair now spitting out somebody else's message.
Right, and then when you combat them with facts,
you're
and it doesn't line up to their opinion.
Right.
I call you on here and I ask you a question, and my opinion is the Jets suck.
Right.
But your facts are they're not. They don't.
Right.
But then I want to argue, then I bring you on and then I basically sabotage you.
Right.
With my opinion, even though your facts are like, there's 15 teams worse than them in the league.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem you have now. Walter Cronkite and I read the thing. Hey, this man's on the moon.
Right.
It was just a statement of facts.
It was the news.
It wasn't
what was
opinion.
happening.
It was this happened.
Correct. And now,
Highland Willinie was in the hospital last week with a case of whatever. Fact.
You could put a robot in the chair now because all that person is doing is spitting out the rhetoric.
Yeah.
You've seen, and it's our buddy Jensen showed us, clips of newscasts from around the country. Different newscasters, 30 different newscasters, all saying the same exact thing.
Words. Using the same phrase.
Correct.
Phrasing, wording. They get out these key phrases they like to turn.
Buzzwords and buzzwords,
and they just feed it.
Yep.
How many times did you hear deplorable at a point in time, right?
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck's a deplorable? You know what I mean? Like, this is what you hear, but that's how they push their agenda.
During COVID, how many times were you hearing certain phrases by, who was the asshole doctor?
Oh, Fauci.
And everything coming out through his network of people and about COVID, and it's this and it's that, and it's this and it's that. It's whatever message they want to pump out to you.
Yep. I agree.
If you want to be a sheep, be a sheep. But it's going to get you nowhere but downhill faster than we're going right now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, nothing like running this one right into the ground.
Right into the fucking ground we went.
Fuck it, we're going out in style.
Hey, that's the rabbit holes.
Rabbit holes, that's kind of what happens.
That is
you
exactly
fall
what
into.
happens.
All right, man.
Any fun rabbit holes that you ended up that you saw?
Fun?
Yeah. Candy making.
I watched that all the time.
I did too. Dude, you know how molten fucking hot that shit's gotta be?
I know. Could you imagine if it's stuck on you?
Oh my god. That's coming off. That's coming right down to the fucking white meat.
Yeah. Candy making, that's good. And how quick it, when they just go clink and then it all just like hard candies.
Yeah.
We should mention it was the 4-year anniversary of our magical win.
It was.
That was pretty good. That is a tearjerker.
That is tearjerker.
Yeah.
Watched the play and cry I did.
Yeah.
But what's amazing, in 4 years, to see that group of kids and to see what they look like now.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Yeah, they're little boys, and now they're like fucking 6 foot tall men. Yeah. Not even. They're only 15 years old. They're 16, but now they're huge.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So pretty wild stuff. I'm all good, dude. I don't know about you.
I am too. I gotta get off this fucking leg.
All right. Take us home.
All right, for GMAC, this is Winnie. This has been the Outlaws podcast. Happy Thanksgiving to all, and